Hi everyone, and welcome to Exploring the Build. We've got a bonus video for you today with another little build request. The concept for today's build request comes from Trampled by Yellow 2, who I'm going to go out on a limb here and assume is Trampled by Yellow as well, which is why I'm throwing this bonus video in with their other request from earlier this week. Recently, Trampled sent in another request for a new character build just to drum up some ideas for the next character they'll be playing in a future campaign. They're going to be basing this character off of Lancelot from Monty Python and the Holy Grail, because all the characters are going to be based off the other Knights of the Round Table. So today, of course, we will be building Sir Lancelot. Now, as far as the concept for Sir Lancelot goes, honestly, for this build, we're going to be probably going through it pretty quick. The restrictions are just no homebrew, only using Player's Handbook, Xanathar's Guide, that sort of stuff. And we're also using 2014 rules, no 2024 or anything like that. So it's very straightforward, and because Lancelot himself, and because Monty Python and the Holy Grail is more slapstick, parody, and just kind of funny, I will say that recreating him in this video as presented is gonna be kind of like that as well. We're going more for a meme rather than an actual powerful character. With that said though, let's jump into the build. Starting off the build and character creation, we are of course a human, and we're gonna go human variant for this one since we can pick up an extra feat that way. And for that feat, pick whatever floats your boat. I'm gonna say we're taking Squire of Salamnia, so we can down the line choose to pick up the other Knight of feats that can make us feel like a Knight of an Order. We are a member of the Knights of the Round Table, so I do think this is appropriate not for recreating any leadership feats, but for just picking up feats that make us feel like a Knight of an Order. As far as our background goes, this is important. We're gonna go with Noble, and specifically the Knight variant of Noble, because we do have to ask our DM, but technically it is one of the few backgrounds that gives us some NPC followers. We specifically want a squire or other non-combatant who is going to follow us around clacking coconuts together. Finally, for our stat distribution, we're going to want the following array of ability scores: 16 strength, 14 dexterity, 16 constitution, 8 intelligence, 12 wisdom, and 8 charisma. We're going to have put a +1 into strength and constitution, of course, and you can technically redistribute the ability scores as you see fit, but really Lancelot in the Holy Grail is the most combative of all the Round Table Knights. He's the one that does the most fighting, and he doesn't exactly have the most charm or intelligence, but when it comes to answering the riddles before crossing the bridge, he does answer the most straightforward way and doesn't get tricked. So a little bit of wisdom will go a long way for us. Looking at the level breakdown now, we're just going to give a broad overview of the levels, and you can pick and choose what you go when along the route. I will say this is not going to be your typical paladin knight build. If you wanted that, you could definitely go paladin or fighter, grab some heavy armor, and then start picking up like the Knight of feats as I was talking about in order to feel like a pretty standard knight. For us though, there's a little bit of evidence from the Holy Grail as to what Lancelot should probably be. For class 1, we have this. Based on the smile he has on his face while running through combat, cutting through various enemies as he goes, not really caring about a shield or protection, I would say that Lancelot is certainly a barbarian. So for the first few levels, we are going to pick that up. For our second class, well, I think we have some evidence there as well. That's right, Lancelot is a rogue. Nothing says sneak attack more than that clip. As a barbarian rogue, we definitely don't feel like a knight on paper, but in reality, it kind of works. As far as the breakdown goes, I would probably recommend Rogue 12, Barbarian 8, though you could flip that around as well. It's just that Barbarian doesn't really scale that well for higher levels, so going Rogue 12 will get us an extra ability score improvement, as well as extra sneak attack. Now, as far as ability score improvements and feats go, we're going to gain 6 of them in total, so that's really cool. Now we want to dedicate at least one of them to a Knight of feat. And normally, I take Knight of the Crown or Knight of the Rose because those are like your leadership type feats. For this one though, I'm taking Knight of the Sword. Knight of the Sword can allow us to increase our Wisdom by +1, and that is the one other third stat that we want to try and build up a little bit. And once per turn when we hit an enemy with a weapon attack roll, we can attempt to frighten them. They have to make a saving throw, and if they fail, they are frightened until the end of our next turn. On a successful save though, they have disadvantage on the next attack roll they make before the end of their next turn. We'll be able to use this benefit a number of times equal to our proficiency bonus, and really it's just nice to have a demoralizing strike given how fearsome we can be in combat. Now with that said, that obviously does buff wisdom, so what are we doing for our other ability score improvements? Well, since we have 5 of them, I would say we're definitely dedicating 2 of them to increase our strength to 20. We're probably going to dedicate another 2 of them to increase our constitution to 20, or maybe we do 1 to constitution and 1 to dexterity, totally up to you. And then finally, we're going to want to get 1 more ability score improvement that's probably a half feat that can improve our wisdom to round it off to 16. For this, I would take Resilient in order to gain proficiency in wisdom saving throws. That way we don't feel too bad about missing out on Slippery Mind from Rogue. Now you may be saying, Alex, why are we increasing our wisdom for Lancelot when he is very much a combative fighter type character who likes to go in sword swinging? Well, it's because he also doesn't fall prey to temptation.
Oh, hello. Quick! What? Quick! Why? You're in great peril! What? Silence, foul temptress! That is not the point. Come on, we will cover your escape! I'm fine! Come on! Nick of time, you were in great peril. I don't think I was. Yes, you were. You were in terrible peril. Look, let me go back in there and face the peril. No, it's too perilous. My duty as a knight sounds as much peril as I can. No, we've got to find the Holy Grail. Come on. Well, let me have just a little bit of peril. No.
In fact, Lancelot is probably the most single goal focused of the knights, being the most efficient knight there who is able to just see the one goal he has in mind and doesn't want to get distracted by any other outside forces. Now besides feats, let's talk combos that this character can pull off as well as what subclasses we're taking. First off, Uncanny Dodge, Barbarian Rage go hand in hand. They will really help us protect ourselves against enemies' attacks. If we get hit with a weapon attack that deals piercing, bludgeoning, slashing damage, we have the damage from resistance, we use a reaction, we have it again from Uncanny Dodge to take a quarter of the actual damage. Another combo, Rage Damage, Reckless Attack, and Sneak Attack. We always have advantage, so we should always be able to land that sneak attack, hopefully, dealing out a lot of sneak attack damage plus rage damage. That'll add up quite quickly. The last combo comes from our subclasses. As far as what rogue subclass we should pick, honestly, that's up to you. There's nothing that really screams Lancelot. I would suggest Swashbuckler since it is the most melee-oriented rogue. However, it boosts Charisma, and we did not boost Charisma, so unless you did swap some things around in your stats, probably don't pick that one. But other than that, really the world is your oyster for rogue subclass. For Barbarian subclass, though, there actually is one that we kind of want. We're going to go with Berserker of all things. I know, Frenzy from the Berserker subclass is not the greatest feature because it gives you exhaustion in 2014. However, it does let us attack as a bonus action without having to attack as part of the attack action. This can unlock that kinda cheesy rogue sneak attack playstyle of doing sneak attack twice per round. Because sneak attack can be delivered once per turn, we can run up to an enemy, hold our actual attack action, use our bonus action to attack that enemy. We still get reckless on that attack at least, so we can deal some damage to them, so we can hopefully hit them and deal that sneak attack damage. Then off of our turn, use our reaction to do our held action to hopefully hit an enemy. No reckless attack advantage unfortunately there, but even if we still hit, we deal sneak attack again. Whether or not you actually use that combo is totally up to you, but I will say I think this is one of the more fair ways that it gets used, given that we have to frenzied rage in order to get it to work, and that's also causing us to gain a level of exhaustion just for doing so. We're probably not using it all the time, but in those big boss fight moments where we want to dish out lots of damage, we might pull it out of our back pocket. And other than that, that's the build. Like I said, it's a quick one today, so there's not really much else to talk about since we got the combos, we got our level breakdown, and we got the ability score improvements / feats that we want. The only other thing that I could probably mention is our armor and defenses and that sort of stuff. We are still a knight. We do want some type of armor. I would recommend a breastplate since it's medium armor. Barbarians can wear it. We've got our dexterity at 14 to max out that defense, and it's not going to impede our stealth as a rogue. Which of course Lancelot is the sneakiest of all the knights, getting off that key surprise attack. Let me know what you thought of it, or what you would add or change to get closer to the theme of Lancelot in the Holy Grail. In reality, we're just pretty much a barbarian rogue, which isn't anything too radical. I'm not suggesting that coconuts migrate on this one, it's just that we're using the build in a kind of unique and flavorful way. Thank you so much for coming on the journey with me, and I hope to see you in the next one.